Yay. Well, thank you. Yeah, thank you for taking the time to chat with me. Why don't we start off saying your name, where you're from, and where you're placed now?
Hi, my name is Amalia. I'm from Romania and I'm placed in Anna, Texas, which is near Dallas.
What's your home community like, and how is it different from Anna, Texas, where you are now?
My home community is quite similar to the one that I'm placed in right now because it's small and everyone knows each other. But I would say that people here are friendlier and you have more volunteering opportunities. People just do more things, are in general like more excited about volunteering, meeting other people. So you have a lot of opportunities here, but not as many. So you have a lot of opportunities when it comes to volunteering and joining things.
When you're at home, you have more access to fun things. What are some things that you like to do at home for fun that are more difficult to do over here?
Well, I'm gonna give you something really simple, like just hanging out with my friends, going on walks and like touring around the city. Here, you need a car to do everything. You need to go somewhere to do something, like you need to have a certain goal that you need to do in order to go out. And back home, like we would just go out and do whatever, which was fun. And America's fun too, but I miss just going on walks.
So how has it been adjusting to that? Like, do you ask people for rides? Do you have to wait until your host family is available to give you a ride in order to go somewhere? Like, how do you get around?
Well, yeah, like you said, I have to ask people for rides. Like if I go out with my friends, I'll tell them, "Oh, well, by the way, I need a ride. Can you pick me up?" Or I will just talk with my host family about it. And if they can take me, okay, they will. But if not, like I will have a friend pick me up or yeah, because I cannot walk, so I need a ride.
When you first arrived here, so it's pretty similar to your home in terms of being small. Everybody knows each
Yeah.
other. Did you really like your placement community when you first arrived, or did you immediately start to feel like a bit of homesickness, culture shock, anything like that?
I would say that the culture shock kind of hit me right when I got here. Like it was
Mm.
pretty hard for me the first 2 months to switch from my Romanian mentality to the American lifestyle and just understand how people think, work here. I was pretty homesick. Like it took me some time to feel like home and to feel comfortable around my community, the people, the school, and to, just know people. But it was worth it. It was worth it in the end. Yeah. I got through it because I mostly talked about it. That's what helped me a lot, talking about it and putting myself out there. But the community helped a lot. Like we go to church every Sunday, and so I met people there that were super friendly with me. It helped me a lot. They were really nice, understanding, and it was just like a way of escaping what I was feeling, at least for a
Mhm.
few hours. So that helped a lot too, like doing stuff out of my comfort zone, kind of.
Okay, interesting. So going to church was a thing that was a place where you were able to connect with other people. Is that something you do at home as well, or was that like totally new?
It wasn't totally new because I used to go to church too, but not as often. Like back home, I go to church once in a every blue moon, like
Yeah.
it's for holidays, and we don't do it every week. But here is every Sunday, every Sunday. So it was kind of new. It was kind of new, yeah. And the way it works, it's different to like the way they praise God. It's different, everything.
And you said it was helpful for you to talk about your homesickness. Who were the people that you talked to the most about that? Who were the most helpful?
Well, I would say my host parents, of course. Like, it's not the first time they're hosting, and they really understood what I was going through, and they were giving me good advice. They were there for me. They actually cared about how I was feeling. But, talking even with my parents back home was helpful. I try not to talk with them so often because I knew that it would, make me lose a bit of my experience here and miss out on things. But for me in the beginning, that really didn't work out. Like I needed to talk to them more often. I was talking to them like once a week and I
Mhm.
needed more time with them. So I tried to balance how much I talk with them and how much I talk with my host family too. And it helped. It helped. But I mostly try to reach out to my host family because it's easier. They're here, they know what's going on, they
Mhm.
understand it because it's their culture. So they help me a lot too. Yeah.
That's great that you were really open with speaking to your host family. If when you have an experienced host family, which I mean a lot of students do, some students have newer host families. They're definitely a great resource. So I'm glad you were able to do that. That's awesome. I wondered if making friends factored into that at all. Was it difficult to make friends here in the US, or was that something that you were doing pretty much right away?
Well, it was pretty difficult. Like it
Mm,
was pretty difficult. It took me a full, I don't know if I don't remember if I mentioned, but it took me the full first semester to actually feel like home and be comfortable with everything and everyone. And it took me about 2 to 3 months to make friends and have actual people that I can not necessarily trust, but enjoy spending the time with and go
right.
out. Yeah, but it helps. Like making new friends helps because it gets your mind off, what your concerns are, your homesickness. And one of the reasons why you're homesick is also, being lonely.
Hmm.
And that's why it helps a lot. So you need to put yourself out there. You need to do things, join a club, join a sport, like volunteer somewhere, go places that you would meet people at, because if not, no one's gonna come at you. And I'm talking from experience. No one is going, oh, she's an exchange student. I'm so excited to talk to her. No, no, you need to reach out to people. I remember in the first few months until I found the people that I have lunch with now, I would just switch tables every single day and be like, hi, do you mind if I sit here? And I would talk to them. And some people would care, some people would just not care that I'm there, but you don't have to take it personally because, having a stranger just come up to you and be like, hi, can I sit here? How are you? It's kind of weird. So you have to understand their perspective too and be open to, doing it more. Like keep going, do not quit with the first person that's not interested in sitting with you. It's really important to keep that good mentality and be positive and not say, oh, this is not worth it, I can't do this anymore after a week of not making 500 friends. So
Okay,
yeah.
I really admire that mentality that like, okay, maybe I'll experience a little bit of rejection or perceived rejection, but I just got to keep going. I got to stay positive, and
Yeah.
this is a little strange, but I embrace it. I think that's great. I
Mhm.
think, and I guess that brings me to another question. Is that similar to your personality at home? Are you like more extroverted? Are you willing to put yourself out there when you're at home, or was this kind of something new for you, putting yourself out there and talking to all these different people?
Well, I started putting myself out there back home a bit recently. So it was kind of a new thing for me because I was never completely alone. I always had somebody that I knew. I always had some friends around because, I'm from a small community. We do things together. But here it was like being completely alone, not knowing anybody. It was a new thing for me. So I really had to adapt and, be flexible with people, be nice. You have to be nice. If you're not nice, you're gonna be alone. So yeah, it was a new thing for me. And I don't know how I had that courage of just walking into a new school, not knowing anybody and just talking to people, but it paid off in the end. It was worth it. And you just have to take things as they are. Just if it comes, it's meant to be this way, it's written for me in the stars. Let's say I have to see how what I can learn from it, what are the good things about it, bad things about it, how can this help me grow, and just think of what's the best outcome of that thing for you. And you have to put yourself first most of the time.
Okay, so I know you talked about having to get rides and making friends, how those were big challenges for you. Were there any other major challenges in terms of adjusting to your host community?
I would say having to adapt with my host family in their house, like learning their lifestyle, their rules, what they like, what they don't like, how they do certain things, because it's obviously different. I'm coming from a different continent, from the other side of the world. There are going to be differences. It was hard for me, kind of understanding and getting how they think and how they see the world around us, and having to, adjust to their lifestyle. But it wasn't that hard. I said it was hard. It wasn't that hard. It was okay-ish. Oh, and another thing that I had a hard time adjusting to was my double placement, like having to live with a different person, because I'm an only child. I didn't have to share anything my entire life, and then when I came here, I had to, share my life with her, cope with her. And of course, we come from different countries. We have different perspectives, way of seeing life and everything. And in the beginning, it was quite hard having to like each other. It was hard, and we really had to work through it. We had to talk with our host family about our local coordinator. Like it was a big deal, and it was quite hard. And I've heard of students that really love their double placement. They're like best friends, sisters, lost sisters, and everything. But it wasn't my case. I'm happy for the people who were going through this. It wasn't my case. And I remember that I wanted a host a double placement so bad. It was this thing that I
Hmm.
wanted the most. And when I got it, I was like, oh, I'm so happy. I'm so happy. But, be careful what you wish for because it's not always how you imagine it's going to be. I would say it was worth it too because I learned a lesson from it.
It's pretty even the amount of students who say it's difficult. I struggle to get along with my double placement, or me and my double placement aren't close at all. We don't talk that much. And the amount of students who say, I love my double placement so much, we have a great time. I feel like it's almost like I think it's almost like a normal sibling relationship. Some siblings are super close, and other siblings,
Yeah,
are very much individual people, very different, always butting heads, or don't have much of a relationship. So it's definitely, I it could certainly be a challenge. Do you find that you deal with challenges with your double placement better now than you did at the beginning of the semester? I mean, of the year.
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
Hmm.
I learned how to cope with her, how to cope with the situations. I know how to approach her now. I learned how to not try to be right all the time, try to understand her perspective, try to put balance them, see what's wrong, what's bad, how can we make this work? Like let's not try to be right. Let's try to make this work. Let's try to make things good for us, make our exchange year successful. And I've worked for it a lot. And when it comes to communication as well, like how do this thing I didn't like what when you did this. It like I felt like it wasn't, I know that you didn't want to hurt me, but it just wasn't the right thing to do for me. I didn't feel like it was right. Do you think you could maybe change the way you do this? Can we do this differently next time? And it really depends on how you put the problem. Like in the beginning I was not patient at all. Now I have patience. I don't get angry so easily anymore. I would say I'm more mature when it comes to approaching her. And it helped me develop this communication skills because she's not the first person that communication will be hard with in my life. So I know it will definitely help me.
You've demonstrated a lot of maturity in having that kind of response to conflict, and being willing to talk it through and approach it from a sort of the most objective angle possible. I think that's great. That shows a lot of maturity on your part. So that's awesome. What are some of the simple things that you do with your host family that you're or in your community, in your school, just simple things that you do in your host community that you're going to miss when you go back home?
I will probably miss going to church with my host family because I volunteered there. So while they have their adult service going on, they have this kids daycare kind of things going on in the back, and I help there. I help them teach with activities, with games, and it's just fun. It's nice, and it's also it goes in on my volunteering sheet, my community hours. So why not? And I will definitely miss that because it's just so nice. I met and I bonded with so many people. It was a great experience to have. And I will also miss eating out after church with them because they eat out often, but most of the time after church on
Hmm.
Sundays. And I will miss that a lot because we always go to new places, we try new stuff. And it's just so nice because that's their way of kind of spending time together, bonding, having lunch, having dinner. And I will miss going to Brahms with my host parents and getting ice cream. It's an ice cream and burger place. I will miss getting ice cream with them and just the car rides that we have together, the way we talk. Because when I'm in a car with my host dad, for example, I tell him everything. We talk about everything. I'm just yapping and talking about everything that comes to my mind, and he has to deal with it. Whenever he does something, I am there with him. Like I am with Gary 100% of the time. He cannot get rid of me when he's doing something. I will be there. I'm his shadow, and I will miss being his shadow. Not gonna lie.
That's so funny that you say that. That's great. I'm sure he'll miss that too, just knowing Gary. Is there any other ways in which you feel like you've changed, or something that you've learned about yourself in going through this experience?
I've learned that I can do whatever I put my mind to. I gained so much confidence. I know my worth now. I feel like no one can tell me that I don't belong in a certain place. I belong everywhere. I am able to do so many things. And I'm so proud of myself for what I've done and where I am right now because I feel like I am so mature. I am so emotionally stable now. I can handle things on my own. I feel like I'm a grown up. I am so responsible and I feel like I am ready for whatever adulthood has to bring. when I wanted to be an exchange student, I thought that, oh, this is a great opportunity for me to understand if I would want to study abroad or not, because I always wanted to study abroad. Like that was my dream, and now I know that I can do it. It's good for me. I can adapt everywhere. I can make friends. I am just as good as anyone else, and I developed, like I said, so much patience, so much kindness. I am a different person now. I and even some of my friends, when I was talking to them, they told me, "Do you know you are much kinder now? Like you are just the way you talk, you are much nicer now." And I think that's a great thing because being kind is I wouldn't say I'm like kind to everybody, but in general I'm a nice person. I try to be nice.
That's a lot of things. Those are a lot of great things. And I think you should be very proud of yourself. I think you've gained a lot of confidence through this experience. Maybe you were a confident person before as well, but that clearly shines through. And you've gone through a really difficult thing. I think study abroad, no matter what kind of person you were before that experience, is kind of transformative. It's very difficult. There are so many challenges, and the challenges are like coming up throughout the whole year. So it seems like you've faced everything with like this positivity and confidence, and really gone through a hard thing and made the
Yeah.
best of it. So this is really great, and you should be proud of yourself. The last question that I have for you is, if you could give advice to a student who's about to start their exchange year, what would you say to them?
So I would have two pieces of advice to give, and the first one is do not expect you from others. So what I mean is when you do something and it's like for other people, do not expect them to react the way you would react, because this is something that I have learned. I was expecting my reaction from other people, and I just couldn't comprehend why they are not thinking the way I am, or why are they not doing this in a more, I don't know, way. But we have to understand that people are different, especially when you move the side of the world, everything is going to be different, and you have to you know, how people react and the way they do things is a reflection of their own thoughts and personality, and it has nothing to do with you. The way you react is what says something about you. The way you handle them is what is truly important, and how willing to, cope with them is important. And I would also say to not compare your year with other exchange students, because this is something very basic that everyone says, but it is so important and crucial for you to have like a successful experience. Because I used to compare my experience with other exchange students a lot. I would see them posting stuff on social media. I would think, oh, they have so many friends, they're doing this, they're doing that. And of course, they're not going to post what's going bad. They're not going to post themselves crying or, oh, I miss my family. And just think that it's not going to be the same. You are not even in the same state. It's never ever going to be the same. Things are different, people are different, opportunities are different. And so just taking a break from social media, or not trying to see what they've like. If you see they posted something, okay, do I really want to see, do I really need to see? Because now this is what I think of when I see that they posted something. And just try and be truthful when it comes to your experience, because most exchange students that I've talked to, especially the ones from Romania, like I love them to death, but in the beginning we were not real with each other. We wouldn't really say what's going bad. They would only say what's going good. And until we all reached a point when we needed some truthfulness and some real
Mhm.
experiences from each other, like the it wasn't really helpful. So just staying truthful to yourself, and know that I am going through this because it is meant for me. And, God has a plan for me. It's going to help me grow. It's going to help me be a better and bigger person. And so you do not have to compare yourself with other people. It is one of the most toxic things that you can do. And I really wish that the next exchange students will not do it, and understand that the sooner you focus on your own experience and now, oh, it could have been like this, it should have been like this. Well, it is the way it is. So you have to take it as it comes and just enjoy it, because if you focus on, if you keep looking back, you're gonna eventually fall if you don't look forward. So you really really need to focus on yourself and not other people when it comes to your experience, of course.
Yeah. All right. That's awesome. That's very well thought out and very well said. I agree with you 100%. And of course, that's something that we say at AYA all the time. Like, please don't compare your experience to others. I know a lot of the exchange students are in contact with each other, and it's great to make friends and things like that. But I think that is something that often comes out of that communication. Like, one negative thing is that, people compare their experiences. And of course, like you said, you're in completely different states with completely different types of families and in completely
Yeah.
different school communities, it's never going to be exactly the same. So everything you can do to make your own to embrace your own experience, I think is going to make that experience all the better. And it's clear that you found a way to do that, and I think that's very impressive. Okay, awesome. Well, thank you so much.